So what does hip hop mean to you?
Hip hop, to me, hip hop like the predominant folk art of like the last 25 years, last 30 years. To me, hip hop is basically people who didn't have the materials or weren't supposed to be able to get up, who took what they had around them, record players, spray paint cans, their voices, and their bodies, and used it to open up a universe to themselves. And in doing so, open up a universe to the whole world, you know, the whole world.
Hip-hop to me is a movement within a culture, regardless of race, age, color, gender, anything like that. Hip-hop is a way of living. It's not necessarily a type of music. It's a way of being, it's a way of dressing, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of serving community.
My relationship with hip-hop is a lifelong relationship. It's, hip-hop has been literally the soundtrack of my adult life. I came up in the 1970s where we were popping and locking and doing stuff like that. Before there was such a thing as hip-hop, no one had named the culture. So my relationship with it has been very personal because I've loved it since the first day I had anything to do with it. I'm not a dancer anymore. I'm too old to dance, and I was never very good at it anyway. My relationship with hip-hop as a scholar of the culture and as someone who really believes in the power and strength of that culture to transform our societies, to give our youth hope when sometimes they don't have hope.
Hip-hop, with our program, HOPE, stands for Hip Hop Offers Positive Expression. And to me, that explains it to not just to myself, but what I should represent as myself to other people. And it's not easy. Hip hop is looked at as a negative way. We look at ourselves in negative ways. We represent ourselves in negative ways sometimes because we have to get it out. And so hip hop has been the only way to express myself positive. And so that's what hip hop to me is, a positive way to express yourself, even if you're an angry person.
For me, as sort of a historian practitioner of my culture, it's a logical extension, the same way that funk was, the same way rock was, disco, house, jazz fusion, techno. All these different forms are part of the same collective, the same expression, from sort of the drum all the way up. So my relationship to it is as a practitioner, but also as a scholar. As a black woman, I have a controversial relationship with it. Sometimes I feel that I'm the product of it, should be the beneficiary of it, but feel that that's often overlooked in the way it's practiced.
But it was always about a power struggle, and that was the artwork of a particular power struggle in the early 80s. And now we're just living with whatever's been left of that. It's constantly growing. It's remained accessible throughout the entire history of it. I think that that's a very important part about it, is that it's so accessible, anybody can create it on any given day. You don't need to have someone who has a studio with all kinds of equipment in it, all kinds of instruments. You don't need anything like that. It's very stripped down.
Hip hop to me has brought me through negative parts of my life and made my life into a positive world that I never thought I could have for myself. Because I went to this school, I went to Highland High School, and when I was coming here, I didn't even think I was going to graduate high school. Now I have a master's degree in curriculum development, and it's because of hip hop.
Through hip hop, I've learned how to be a man. I've learned how to find the sensitive side of myself as a man through hip hop. I've learned how to make friends with incredible people. I've learned how to express myself. I learned more in high school from hip hop, from rappers, than I did from textbooks or from teachers. I've learned about the world politically, culturally, socially. Hip hop has given me tools to be an entrepreneur, to give back to young people. So on every level, culturally, spiritually, mentally, physically, hip hop has inspired me. So it's inspiration. It's life force. It's who we are. And that, for somebody else, that might be country. But for me, it's hip hop. It's love.
The type of prayers that have a unifying power among sinners and saints. The same mantras, magic and incantations,
whether spit by king, queen, or slave, on a spectrum
from black to white and every shade of gray, that covers the walls we leap turnstiles
and call under fences to spray paint,
scribble down the contents of our brains
on dirty napkins and the inviting sides of subway trains, just to stay sane.
An essential part of the feng shui that forces both the dead
and deaf silences to vacate
as soon as the box booms with sound waves in the midst
of man-childless promised land.
Adults who never had a chance to see kids can't wait to press play
and let the music take place of saving grace.
A collection of speakers become a choir.
We get unwired and black out into unspoken tongues that need to breathe funk
and articulate amazing feats that never get tied like the tongues of our sneaks, that never get tired and stay fresh like our sneaks, cause we ain't got much.